Recorded. Next time, if you see that we're not recording, stop me. Don't type on the chat because I don't see the chat unless if I go to the chat. So I didn't record the whole. It will start in the middle. I'm not going to start again. Okay, let's see if we can recap. Okay, so let's go back and recap on what we just did as part of Okay, so let's do that. I am so sorry about that. Okay, so we're doing amortization. By the end of the session, you will know how to calculate the payments and do the basic amortization. So this is just to catch up everybody so that you don't get lost where we are. We forgot to record the session. That's why I'm rushing through it. So amortization is all liabilities paid over equal payments over the same period, equal time. We use present value of an annuity to calculate the annuities. We've done the annuities, so you know how to calculate this. Every payment that you make, your outstanding principal will reduce and your principal repaid will always increase with time. This is the amortization schedule. We first calculate the payment. We know what the payment look like with the present value of the annuity. We calculate the payment R. Once we have the payment, we calculate the interest. And the interest is always calculated at simple interest rate, but we need to divide the interest rate by the compounding periods. And the term will always be 1. To calculate the principal repaid, we're going to take payment minus interest. And to calculate the outstanding balance, which is also the closing balance of the previous year or period, and it's also the opening balance of the current period. Let's look at how we do this, how we unpack it. So we know payment, we calculate it using the present value of an annuity formula. Interest, we use the simple interest. Period is always going to be 1. Our rate, we divide by the compounding period. Our principal amount is our outstanding principal for every line. Principal repaid is your payment minus your interest. It means payment excluding interest. Outstanding principal will be your previous outstanding principal minus the principal repaid. It will give you the outstanding principal or your closing balance. Looking at how we draw up an amortization schedule, we look at this example, which states draw up an amortization schedule for a loan of 4,000 for 3 years at 15% per annum, compounded half-yearly, and repayable in 6 half-yearly payments. We know that we're going to use the present value of an annuity formula to calculate this. So we state what we are given. Our present value, which is 4,000, our interest, which is 15%. Since we calculate it manually, but not for those who are using the financial calculator, those who are calculating using the formula manually, we divide 15% by 100, 0.15. We divide it by the compounding periods and we get 0.75. Because it is compounded half yearly, which means there are 2. The period is 3 years, and we substitute into the formula. Since 3 times 2 is 6, so we're going to just substitute the values as we calculated them into the formula. Our present value is 4,000. R is what we need to be calculating, which is our payment, times 1 plus our I of 0.075 to the power n, which is 6 minus 1, divide by 0.075 times 1 plus 0.075 to the power of 6. calculating the top part of the fraction and the bottom part of the fraction, we get 0.54 divided by 0.11. Calculating what is inside the bracket, we get 4.6. We need to make R the subject of the formula. So we divide 4,000 by 4.6. We get R is equals to 4,000 divided by 4.6. And the answer we get is 852. Those who are using the financial calculator, we also state what we are given. Our present value, 4,000. Our interest, 15. Our period, which is 3. Our compounding periods, which are 2. So now we are ready to calculate our payment. Second function, CEA, clear our calculator from any stored value. Second function, P/Y, to put in our compounding period, which are 2, and we press E and T button. We go on and off our calculator. We go plus or minus, put in the present value, which is 4,000, and we press the PV button. Then we put in our interest, which is 15, and we press I and Y button. Then we put in the year, which is 3 years, and we need to multiply by the compounding period, which is second function N, and then press N again to store the value as your period. Then we are ready to comp PMT, and the same answer you will get will be 852, and that is your payment. Now we are ready to complete our amortization schedule. Now, with the amortization schedule, we know we calculated our payment, and that is our payment. We can draw up our amortization schedule by putting in the periods, which has 6 half-yearlies. So there will be 6 payments, and they told us that there will be 6 half-yearly payments. Outstanding amount, interest, payment, and principal repaid. That's how we draw the amortization schedule. We've calculated the payment. We just substitute it and it stays the same. It does not change over the period. And you can also calculate to get the total payments, total amount of payments. And this is your accumulated amount, and this is your future value actually, let's call it. This will be your future value because it's payment including interest. What we do now, we can now calculate the interest, the principal repaid, and the outstanding principal. And we're going to use the side. Calculating the interest for the first line, we know that our interest, we calculate using the simple interest formula. Our present value will be 4,000. Our rate, we've calculated it previously, it was 0.075. Our term is for that line, which is 1, only 1 year. And when we calculate this, we get 300. So we come and put it here, 300. We do the same on the other side. Principal repaid. So if I remember all those, it says A, B, C, and D. So we go to the C to calculate the principal repaid. It's 852, so which is 852.18 minus 300, which gives you 552.18. That is the principal repaid. Now we need to calculate the closing balance, which is the opening balance, the closing balance of payment number 1, and that we get by saying 4,000. Sorry. Say 4,000 minus 552.18, which then gives us 3447.82. So we come and write it here, 3447.82. That is the closing balance of payment number 1. That is the opening balance for year 2 or half yearly 2. Then we go back to B because A is already completed. So B says 3447.82 multiplied by 0,075 multiplied by 1, which gives us 258.59. So we write it there, 258.59. And that is our interest. Now we can calculate the principal repaid, which is 852 minus 0.18 minus 258.59, which then gives us 593.59. And we need to calculate the opening balance of line number 2. And that will be 347 minus 593, which gives us 2854. And we continue calculate the interest, calculate the principal repaid, go back, calculate the outstanding until we get all of them. And when we calculate the total of the interest, we get 1,100. That is the interest paid over the 3-year period. This is accumulated amount. So this is your total interest. This is your future value. And as you can see, this is the same as your principal, your outstanding principal. And that is how you complete the amortization schedule. Now, I know we've done only using the manual calculations. And I said, those who are having financial calculators, you just need to wait a bit because you have your, you have to wait a bit. Once you have calculated your payment, I hope you have done the exercise with me when I was doing the payment. So I hope when I was calculating this payment, yeah, you did all the steps. If you didn't do the steps, quickly do the steps so that on your calculator, you have the answer of 852. And once you have that answer, you press the on and off button for now because we're not going to use it. We will use it later on. So now, let's assume that we are in the exam. They give you a table that looks like this with no other information like the rest of the things, how you calculate all this. They just give you a table and they say this is an amortization schedule for a loan you took of 4,000 compounded 15 years, Choose which one is the correct, and they give you A, B, C. And one of the exercises we're going to be doing it to look at this. And they give you this and say, choose the correct answer. But here they give you A, you cannot calculate A if you didn't calculate B. And you cannot calculate B if you don't know what A is. So it means you first need to calculate A, and then, you need to calculate C. And once you have calculated C, you must calculate B. Once you have B, you can calculate A. So how do we do that? So calculating C, which is our interest, we need to take our present value times the rate times T. Our present value for this line, number 4, is 2,216.12. Multiply this by the rate of 0,075. Multiply this by 1 because it's for that line. And the answer we get from here, I don't have my calculator here with me, so I'm going to check from here. It's 166.21. 166.21 because I'm using the same table. 166.21. So therefore, this one value is 166.21. So when I have my C, I can calculate my B, which is my principal repaid, which is 852.18 minus my 166.21. And I'll go check because I'm cheating now. It's 685.97, which is equals to 687. I forgot the number. 685.97. 685.97, which is 685.97. Now I have my principal repaid, and I know that my outstanding principal for payment number 1 is 2216. So I can calculate A by say 2216.12 minus 685.97. And when I do that, the answer I get will be 1530.15. And this is 1530.15, which will be the closing balance after payment number 4. That is the closing balance after payment number 4. And that is one way of completing the amortization schedule. But it's not only those questions that they might ask you. So sometimes they might ask you, what will be the outstanding balance after payment 3? So it means what will be the outstanding balance after I make payment 3? It will mean that value that they are looking for, the closing balance, which is the opening balance of payment 4. Sorry, it will be the closing balance after payment 3, or it will mean the opening balance for payment 4. If they ask you, what will be the closing balance after payment 4? It will, from this question, it will just say is 260. If they ask you what will be the principal repaid after payment 3, principal repaid after payment 3, it's 638. Those who are calculating manually, it means you will have to have completed this table before you can answer those questions in the exam. Or they're asking you what is payment 130 after 135 payments. So it means you need to have calculated 135 lines in order for you to get to that payment, or the 14th or something like that. But those with the calculator, or those with those who have a financial calculator, the steps are easy. So remember, you would have calculated the payment. We did all the steps. So if you didn't do the steps, please quickly calculate the step. I'm going to give you some time. So make sure that you complete all the steps. Are you done? I just need one person to indicate if they are done. If you are not done and you are using a financial calculator, also let me know so that I can give you more time.
Yes, yes, I am done.
Done. Nobody's left behind. Okay, so now let's go and do amortization. So now, because I told you to go out of your calculator, press on and off, you can go back and press comp payment so that in front of you, you can see 852.18. So you do have in front of you. So now we are also going to complete the same exercise we did when we were calculating manually. So you've calculated the payment. Now we need to amortize this table. So on your table that you have, you create all the payments because then they stay the same. And now let's amortize that payment that we have in front of us. The first step that you're going to do is to press amort button and then press 1. AMRT and then press 1. Then you press the down arrow on your calculator and press 1 again and press ENT. Then press down arrow and you will see on your screen it will say balance and it will write minus 3447.82. So therefore it means from that table you go in. From the table, you have your outstanding principal, 3447.12. So you have your outstanding principal. So your outstanding principal. So it gives you the closing balance. And that it tells you that is the closing balance after payment number 1, because you told it 1. When we were amortizing, we are doing the first payment. So now when you press down arrow, it will show you principal. So it will give you the value for the principal, which is 552.18 there. It will give you the principal. Now, when you press again down arrow, it will give you interest. Oh, sorry. I have my things vice versa. Sorry, my bad. You must swap my values around. So I swapped my values around. So this is principal repaid. And this is our interest is 300. Sorry, my bad. So this will be your interest. So when you press 1 the first time, it gives you everything relating to the first payment, the closing balance, the principal repaid, and the interest. Now we need to go and get everything about payment number 2. We need to amortize or get the balances and everything relating to payment number 2. You press down arrow and then you press 2 and then press ENT and press again down arrow 2 ENT. So you will do this step twice. And then you press down arrow. Oh, sorry. Then you press down arrow and it will give you balance. Then you press down arrow, it will give you principal balance, principal amount. Then you press down arrow, it will give you the interest. And when you do that, you will see that it will complete the whole table. And that is for payment number 2. It will give you all those values. Once you are done with the interest, then you press down arrow and you press 3 and press ENT. Down arrow, 3, ENT. Down arrow, it will give you balance and you will see there you will have 2854. Down arrow and it will give you principal repaid. Principal repaid. Where am I? I'm on the wrong side. It will give you 216, and it will give you principal repaid for line number 3. And when you press down arrow, it will give you interest, which will be 214. Then you repeat again. Down arrow 4. Enter. Down arrow 4. Enter. It will go on and on and on and on and on and on. It does everything for you. So let's say, for example, you have a question and they ask you to calculate A, B, and C. So remember, like with this one. So if I remove this value and that value and that value. And with that, I want you to press, sorry, not that. Let's say now we are in the exam, you just calculated your payment. I want you to go on and off your calculator. You go on and off your calculator. And then you go back and press comp and press PMT, then the 852 appears on your screen. So now we are in the exam. We need to answer this question where it asks, what is the principal amount, the outstanding principal after payment number 4? What is the principal repaid and what is the interest? That's all what they're asking you. So now you have your payment. The next step you do is press AMRT and then you press 1. Then you press down arrow and then you press 1 and press E and T. You always have to make sure that you amortize the first payment before you do the rest of the other questions. So you make sure that you amortize the first payment. So once you have amortized the first payment, you ignore everything because you're not interested in the rest of them. So you go down arrow and it will show you balance. You ignore that. Down arrow, it will show you principal. Then you press down arrow and it will show you interest. Once you have the interest, you are ready to answer any amortization question which is not related to payment number 1. So we need to find what is the outstanding principal after payment number 4. So all what you do is down arrow and you press 4 and you press E and T. And then you press down arrow and you press 4 and you press E and T. Down arrow, it will give you balance, which is that A. Remember the logic was A, B, C. So that was A and this was B and this is C. So when you do down arrow, that will give you A. When you say down arrow, it will give you the principal amount, which is B. And when you do down arrow, it will give you the interest, which is C. So on your calculator, it first gives you the principal, outstanding principal, and then it gives you the principal repaid, then it gives you the interest. When you're calculating manually, you first need to do C, then do B, then do A. So on your financial calculator, it is easy to do your amortization schedules and answer any question relating to the amortization than when you are calculating manually. Now, the other thing that I also need to say to you is sometimes after you've done the amortization, you've answered the question where they ask you what is the principal repaid at the end of payment number 4, or what is they might also ask you questions like, how much will Joe or whoever pay at the end of 6 half-yearly payments or at the end of 3 years? What will be the accumulated amount that they will have to pay at the end of? So to calculate that, easy, because if you have the table like this, you will just say that will be the payment That will be the accumulated amount at the end of year 3. Alternatively, since you have the payment, you can calculate the annuity of the future value by using the payment that you have. So you restore all the values, but instead of using the future payment, you can use your payment that you have to calculate what the future value is on your calculator. Remember that? Second function CA, second function, you store your compounding periods, which are 2 on and off. You will put in the payment, which is 852. And then you will put in the interest, which is 15. You will say the period is 3, multiply that by the compounding periods, and then compute future value. The answer you will see will say 5113. That is for those who are using financial calculators. Those who are calculating manually, you will calculate using the formula for the future value of an annuity. Okay, that's one. The other time they might ask you, what will be the total interest at the end of 3 years? It means you'll have to have calculated all the interests that are there and add them together. Alternatively, remember, your payment includes interest. All what you do when they ask you what will be the total interest after 3 years, all what you do is you calculate the future value, which will give you. So total interest will be your future value of 113.08 minus the 4,000, which is your present value. And that will give you the interest of 1113.08, which is your total interest. And those are the kind of questions you will get in the exam as well. Another scenario that they might ask you to do is, they might say, now that you have amortized this, but they decide now to change the present value, sorry, not the present value, they decide to change the interest. I told you that the payment will stay the same. So at this point, you are done with the amortization, but they're asking you follow-up questions. So they say, instead of paying 15% interest, now the interest is 8%. They just want to know what will be the future value of this, or the present value, or whatever they want you to calculate. All what you do is, since you have the payment, you just use that to calculate the 8%. Sometimes they might say, from year number 4, they want to change the interest from 8% to another number. So it means if they say, after payment number 4, they want to change the interest. So it means after payment number 4, you have your balance, which is that. So that balance from that period onwards, the interest is changed. So it means you're going to have to change that value. The only thing you need to do is you must take that as your present value. You must have your interest as your 8%, and the rest stays. Your period, how long are you left with? So there are only 2. So you can just say it's your N is 2, and you don't even have to multiply by the compounding periods as well, because already the period is, you're left with 1 year, which is already compounded, because this is 1 year, this is 1 year, this is 1 year. So if they say at that point onwards, so you are already left with 1 year, so which is 1 times 2 is equals to 2. And you put in your, you already have the compounding period. So all what you do is you change your present value, you change your interest by just say on your calculator, 1,500 PV, 8 PV, 8 INY. N is 2. You just press 2 and then press N without going and doing second function N again. You just say 2 and then you press N. And when you go amort and you go down, amort 1 and you go down arrow and you go 1 and enter and down arrow, and you will get the balance, and your balance will be the new balance. It will not longer be 779. So you just need to know how to use your calculator to navigate the questions. And usually amortization, there are 5 questions in your exam, or 4 questions. So the question number 1, it will be amortize, or question number 1, it will be calculate the payment. Question number 2 will be amortize the payment. Question number 3 will be calculate after the outstanding balance or the principal at this point. Question number 5 will be, if we change the interest rate, what will be the new principal amount at this period? And all of them, you can do them on the calculator, on your financial calculator, except those who are calculating manually. It means you will have to calculate or create an amortization schedule for all of them and calculate your outstanding principal for all of them manually, and then continue like that. Okay, and with that, I have an exercise for you. I think more things will become clearer when we do the exercises on Friday, because today, you see already we are at 7 o'clock. So now it's time for your exercise, and then this exercise might take us up to the end of the session. So calculate A and B and choose which one is the correct answer.
Sorry, Lissy, can you go back to the example, please?
Are you winning?
I think so.
The reason why I went back to the previous one, I wanted to show you an example that we did so that you can compare how you do this one. It's the same concepts.
Hi, Lizzie.
Yes.
I came in late, ne? But when you were doing the example, given all the information at the top, when answering this exercise, I can see that
Ignore what
you
you are
don't need
given here
it.
at the top. Sorry. Ignore what you are given here at the top.
Okay,
work
you
with
don't
the
need it
thing
because
is
it's
quite
been used already.
Yes, they already
Okay.
completed the
Okay.
amortization schedule.
All right. No, then
So
I'm
to
winning. I
calculate-
think so.
Yes, to calculate B, you just use
Yeah,
those two.
the values that you are given.
It's payment
Yes.
minus interest to get
Yes.
B. To calculate A, you need to use
The outstanding
this
principal
value
minus B.
and this value,
And which one?
the principal repaid.
Oh, and B.
And the outstanding principal.
Oh, yeah.
Where I
Okay.
put the cross.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, I'm winning. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Are we winning?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Don't stress too much because on Friday we will do lots and lots of exercises. So we won't be doing lots of theory. We'll just do exercises for 2 hours. We'll look at more examples. Okay, so how do we then answer this? So this is easy to answer B. We say 4130.93 minus 131.40. And what do you get?
3999.53.
399
9.5. It's 53 from my calculator.
53. So it's
Ah.
fine. It's fine. And then we calculate A, which is 12129.06 minus 3999.53. And what do you get?
$8129.
You get
8129.
8129.13.
13. It's
And
not exactly 13.
It's number 2, Lizzie.
it will be number 2. That will be your answer. Those who wanted to calculate using the values that you are given, the challenge with all this is they didn't give you, the reason why I didn't want you to use any of these values here, they didn't give you how long the period in order for you to calculate the payment. Do you understand? So for the fact that they didn't give you how long, they just gave you only 5 months. Remember, this is compounded monthly. So they cut off some of the values because if it's 5 months and it will be, that cannot be 4,000 at the end, because if you add that value plus that value plus this value plus this value plus this value, will that give you 20,000? Because then it should show 12 months of the period here. So for the fact that they didn't give you all the values or all the information that completes this, in order for you to do this amortization, you cannot rely on this information that they gave you here at the top. It's good that they give you, but at least they should tell you for how long this loan is taken up for. Then you should be able to calculate the payment, and you should be able to calculate the rest of the other values and complete it. So next time you are in the exam and they give you a table, don't confuse yourselves. Just look at what you are given and use that information to calculate the amortization schedule. With that, that will be the end of today's session. Do you have any question before I recap?
Can I just ask? You said
Yes.
this would not give you 20,000.
Does it give you 20,000?
The payments times 5 give you 20,654, and the interest is 654.
No, remember the payment alone.
Yes.
Cannot be equals to that. It should include also interest.
Which one?
The 4,000.
Which is, they do include the interest.
They do include interest. You get how much?
20,654.
Okay. If you add the 3,000, the 3,914 plus the 3,956 plus 399.53 plus 4042.86, I think it will give you 20,000 plus 4086 equals, no, it doesn't. So if you add all this principal repaid, they should give you the total of
20,000.
all principal repaid should be equals to 20,000. Like,
Oh, okay.
for example, remember this, all your principal repaid should be equals to, your principal repaid should be equals to the opening at the beginning. So if they don't give you the same thing, then it's not complete. So, yeah. So, but also they didn't tell you for how long this loan was taken up for.
Okay, thank you.
They just give you information that it's only for 5 equal payments, but it's amortized each month. We know each month is 12 months of a year. So they should be at least 12 months. All right, all right, all right. Any other questions? So otherwise, then I will see you on Friday. So just to recap on what we did today.
Sorry, Lizzie.
Yes.
Can I please have the link for Friday's session?
Okay. Are you on the
Thank you.
WhatsApp group? Are you on the WhatsApp group?
Yes. No,
Okay,
I'm
on
not.
the- I will post it again on here. You will have to copy it and save it safely and save it somewhere where you can access it.
Okay.
It's the same link for all the sessions. So it has, I will post it on the chat.
Thank you.
Okay, it's on the chat. Okay, just to recap on what we did today, you've learned how to calculate the payments and amortize the payment and learned how to create the basic amortization schedule. And with that, it concludes today's session. I will see you on Friday when we do exercises on amortization.
Thanks, Lizzie.
Thank you for coming through and thank you for joining the session today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lizzie. Bye-bye.
Bye.